Sweet life, sweet life, sweet life.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's Cece from Sweet Life of Cece. So today I thought that we would try something new. I figured that I can do a quick tutorial, but then we can also have like a chit chat during the same time. So I figured it'd be like a 2-for-1 where I can show you a quick baking tip or trick or whatever, but we can also talk about kind of what's going on. If you're new to my channel, this is the first video that you're watching, kind of find out a little bit more about me. So that's what we're going to do today. Today we are going to learn how to stack a cake, and then I'm going to stack a tiered cake, I'm sorry. And I'm going to put the final details on a cake that I've already been working on. And then we're just going to chit chat. As you know, if you've already been watching my videos, you know I'm a home baker. I make custom cakes, cupcakes, cookies, treats from home. And I like to share a lot of my tips and tricks and, you know, quick tutorials with my YouTube channel. So stay tuned, and we're just going to get into what's kind of going on with me, my business, YouTube, and things like that. Okay, so first of all, as you can see by the title of this video, I have just reached 100 subscribers. Yay! Well, I actually reached 100 subscribers about a week ago. I'm at like 129 now. And I'm so thankful. I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel forever, but just between procrastination and just lack of motivation or like confidence, not really, but really. So I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel maybe for the last 5 years. And I actually went out maybe 4 years ago and I went and bought a camera. I decided I was going to start shooting YouTube videos, and I bought this camera and I took the camera on vacation with me, and I don't know what I did with the camera after that. Yeah, the camera was like $300. So, but even at that time, like I was watching a lot of YouTube, but I was watching more like a lot of vlogs. And although if you watch my getting to know me video or my day in the life video, you'll know that I've been baking over the span of the last 10 years, but I took about 2 years off here and there. So about 8 years I've been baking. And so it's always been something that I felt like I wanted to do. I wanted to make videos and kind of show what I'm learning, show my journey. But I was kind of hesitant because I don't know, like I felt like you had to be some Food Network chef, you know, that went to some private culinary school to, you know, actually share tutorials on YouTube. So although other people were telling me all the time, you should start a YouTube channel, you know, you should do classes, you can do this, I think I kind of, to be honest, probably like lacked a little bit of confidence, like thinking, I don't know if I'm good enough to do a YouTube channel or to start. Like I felt like I had to get to like level 10, like literally I had to get to the highest level of making cakes before I could share what I know. But then it dawned on me one day that a lot of the YouTube videos that I watch were like kids, not kids, but like, well, I'm in my 30s, so like teenagers, that's why I say kids. We're like teenagers showing tutorials on makeup and hair and how I do this and how I made this. And like, it kind of dawned on me in that moment that you don't have to be an expert. Like, even though I don't feel like I'm at level 10 of knowing everything there needs to be regarding making cakes, you know, I'm definitely not a level 1. And there's people who were like, you know, like me, how I was at one point in time, I was at a 1, like just beginning. I didn't even know the basics. And then I also didn't even realize, like, I thought tutorials on YouTube had to be like how to make a $1,000 wedding cake, not realizing that more people are interested in how to bake a cake in 20 minutes, how to do a simple birthday cake. Like, more people are interested in something simple that they can relate to rather than trying to make something extravagant and out of this world. So once I realized that, and I just kind of saw, and like also it had to do a lot with a lot of people starting to ask me different tips and tricks, like a lot of other bakers like reaching out to me asking me, how do you do this, what do you think about this? Like they would, you know, send me pictures of their cakes and what they were working on, and I would kind of guide them into how I would make it and what are the different steps. And in that moment, I kind of realized like people are interested in what you know and what you're, you know, and you should share this with the world. So I decided to start a YouTube channel in July. So I just hit like my 2-month mark, and my YouTube channel is not only baking, like although, you know, I call it the sweet life because I am a baker, and a lot of, you know, what will be on my channel will have to do with baking. My channel is not only for bakers. Like there's so many other aspects of my life that I feel like, you know, I'm willing to share and talk about, things like that. Like I'm a mom, I like to travel, you know, I'm a working mom, you know, I'm a single mom, I am in a sorority, I'm a published author, like I'm a woman entrepreneur. So I just feel like it's so many different things that I can kind of share with people. Like in a lot of those areas, like although I might not be an expert in it, I have experience in it and I've done it. So I can share at least what I know with other people. And what I do like about YouTube is that it's a community. And I know like YouTube gets a bad rap for some of the negativity, and you know, a lot of people are quicker to run to negativity than they are to positivity. But I will say that there is a lot of positivity on YouTube, in my opinion. Like no matter what stage of your life you're in, no matter what you're going through, you can find a video of somebody talking about it, talking about how they got through it, talking about if you're just trying to figure out how to do something, they're talking about how they did it and how they tips that they would give you. And I just like that there's so many people willing to share, you know, information, and they're willing to share it for free. I mean, it's free to you, even though their video might be monetized and they might be getting paid for it, but it's free to you. So yeah, that's what brought me to YouTube, and I just hit my 100 subscribers last week. So I'm very excited, kind of motivated to keep going, share more things with you guys. And yeah, so that's where we are. So also I wanted to talk about, like I said, we're going to be stacking a cake today, and I've already covered the top and the bottom in fondant, and so I'm just going to show you how I stack my cakes and put the final touches on them. So this is a bow that I made last night out of fondant, and I set it out to dry and just kind of put some tissue in there to keep it fluffy. So this is going to be the bottom tier of our cake, and I'm just going to trim off the extra fondant around the edges. So yeah, one thing, like I said, how I was kind of hesitant to start a YouTube channel because I felt like, you know, I wasn't some master, you know, cake decorator. But one thing I can say is the feedback that I've been getting from my YouTube videos, although I only have like 100 and something followers. One thing about YouTube analytics, when you look at your analytics, you'll see that the majority of the people who watch your videos are not even your followers. So literally like 90% of people who watch my videos don't follow me. And then they leave, you know, some of the most positive comments. I know how YouTube can be, and I know that I will, you know, I don't want to speak it, but I just kind of have it in my mind that eventually somebody will come with the negativity, but that's with anything in life, right? Not that I want to talk it up, but I just know, like, I know in any community, because I watch a lot of, hair and makeup videos. I watch a lot of, at one point I was doing the keto diet, and right now I'm like doing Weight Watchers. And I just know that there's just a lot of people who are just think they're like self-proclaimed experts in a certain field. And if they see you doing anything that they don't recommend or they don't do, they are quick to jump in your comments and basically come at you. Like, not even in a loving or, helpful way. They like literally like, what are you doing? Like, like just mean and just, I don't know. So I also know because I've been in a lot of baking groups on Facebook, which I'm not in any right now. I actually have my own baking group, which I share tutorials with. If you do want to join my group on Facebook, it is totally free, and it's called Caking with CC. And you can search and I will let you into my group. And I wanted it to be a safe place because I just was in some larger groups with people, some of the bigger bakers and treat makers, not all, but some of them can just be very mean, just very mean. And like one thing I always pride myself in is that I remember how it feels to be a beginner and not know anything. So I never feel like anything is a stupid question. Like, you literally can ask me anything, and although it might seem simple or like common sense to me, I can't say that or just assume that for someone else. You just can't. Like, no question is a stupid question. You know how they used to always say that in school, and I'll be like, yeah, okay. But now I really get it. No question is a stupid question. So I, want my comment section, I want my Facebook group, all of that to be a safe place for people to come share their work, kind of get tips with each other, things like that, So yeah, I have my own group. I think there's about 50 people in my group, which is not bad for me to think that nobody, wanted to hear what I had to say, or, so I have about 50 people in my group, and I do classes with them. When quarantine first started, I used to do them weekly. I do want to get back to doing them weekly and at least showing something to my class or my group. So I'm just sticking dowels in my cake, and these are what's going to support the top layer of my cake so that the top layer does not smush the bottom layer. And so, I stuck it in a little bit too far. It's okay. But usually for a 6-inch cake, I usually stick 4 in there. And so, yeah, so that's where I am now. So as far as my business, like I said, I've been in business about 8 years. And I am, like, now with me starting my YouTube channel, with me working full time, like, my business is like really, really, doing well even through quarantine. I have to be, very thankful for that, because there is a lot of businesses, that can't say the same. And, my heart goes out to small business owners. And, I really have to be thankful that, my clients, it slowed down, but for the most part, I still was making cakes all through quarantine. And even if, like, for small events, I was still booked and making cakes for small events. So I have to be thankful with that, because I know some businesses, actually went out of business, and it's a lot of work running a business and a small business. So my heart really goes out to the small business owners who lost their businesses during this time, who are struggling, still struggling to get back on their feet. And I just saw recently that Florida, I live in Florida, has like fully opened back up. So hopefully, people can wear their masks and keep their distance and kind of stay safe, but we can hopefully try to get back to some sort of normalcy soon, because I know it is taking a huge toll on people financially, mentally, emotionally. It's just a lot. It really is a lot. So I just have to be thankful that during this time, my business still did well. Everybody in my house stayed safe. None of us contracted Corona. My boyfriend and I, we both still have our jobs. And, he also has a business on the side. So we both have full-time jobs and a business on the side. And, between our full-time jobs and our businesses on the side, we're still doing well. So I'm very thankful. And that's not something that I take for granted at all. Like, ever. Like, I never want to take for granted financial security, because I've been there. I've been in a place where, I've lost my job and didn't know how I was going to pay for certain things and, take care of myself and my son and things like that. So it's never, ever, ever something that I want to take for granted. Ever. So yeah, so that's my kind of Corona update. But yeah, so on my channel, you can expect to see, like I said, baking tutorials. My boyfriend and I, before the whole restriction thing, we like to travel a lot. So, hopefully when things do get back to normal, we can start traveling again, do some travel vlogs, because I think those will be interesting for me to post as well. And if you are a subscriber, I thank you for taking interest in what I even have to say, little old me. And if you're not subscribed, what are you waiting on? I need you to join the party. Come on. So yeah, this is the top of the cake, and so as you see, I put the sticks in, and then this cake actually has a hole at the bottom of it, so it'll slide right on top of that cake. But yeah, so what's going on with my business right now? Like I said, I'm literally my orders have kind of gotten back to normal. I probably used to do a lot more larger cakes. I actually had a wedding cake that was scheduled for next month, and it had got canceled. The wedding had got canceled. And it just ended up going, having like a court celebration. This is my buttercream that I make out of, high ratio, what is it called? Shortening. I don't actually use butter because I'm in Florida and it's very humid, very, very humid. So I find that my high ratio buttercream, which I buy the high ratio shortening from my local cake supply store, or sometimes I get it online, and the shortening comes in this container, and then I make my buttercream and then I store it back in these or just regular Tupperwares. And so although I put those straws in there, I kind of cover them up with buttercream to create kind of like a suction or like a glue type. And so then like I said, these have a hole in it. This goes down like that. Voila. And so with me, I always put my ribbon on first, because then I can kind of judge where my decorations will go. Because what happened was, when I used to put my ribbon or my borders on last, sometimes I would, whatever, like if it was a name or some type of decor that I wanted to put on it, sometimes I would put it down too far. And so then when it was time to put the ribbon on, like I had to adjust. So I've learned to put my ribbon on first, and then I can know exactly where to place my decorations. And I like to stack my cake first and then design it, because as you can see, I had to, like, this is fondant and it's cold. You see, I had to pick it up and put it on here. So like if I had to do some type of piping or something that, might mess up, you will want this to be stacked first. So, because it's very hard, there's ways that you can lift it with a spatula, but why do that when you can stack it first and not have to worry about messing up your design? So that's just what I do. Like I said, I have to put a full disclosure in my videos that this is just the way I do things. Like, over the years, I've learned tips and tricks from other people, but the best teacher is experience. So a lot of the things that I do is based on my experience, what works best for me, and what my clients like and appreciate. So, of course, there's 20 ways to skin a cat, right? So yeah, so I stack mine first, then I put my ribbon. And so the polka dots are gonna go on the top. This is gonna be a Minnie Mouse cake, and then I'm gonna do Minnie Mouse designs to go on the bottom. So yeah, like I was saying, since the short time I have been on YouTube, my 2 little months that I've been on here, I've gotten pretty positive feedback. Of course, I started to get my first dislikes on some of my videos. They're not, on some of I think my Rice Krispie treat video has like 5 or 6 dislikes or whatever. And of course, when I saw the first dislike, I was like, but then I'm like, girl, like, everybody ain't gonna like you, and that's okay. That is okay. But you know what? For you to dislike my video, this is what I found out, because I'm doing a lot of research about like just YouTube and like how the algorithm works, like, just how the whole community works, how people are building their channels, what type of content people really like to see. And like I was saying, I thought that people wanted these extravagant wedding cakes, and I'm finding out that people just want to know how to make a simple cake that they can make at home, which is refreshing to me, because I got you. Simple cakes, I got you. I've mastered simple cakes, so I got you. So so I learned watching other, I follow a lot of channels that kind of teach you about the analytics and the actual like logistics and business aspect of YouTube, because whenever I get into something, I really want to understand what I'm going into. Like, if you watched my 5 things I wish I knew before I started baking, my baking business video, you will see that I kind of went into that blind, not knowing anything. And so now, before I get into anything, I make sure I kind of know some insight about it. Not that I'm gonna know everything, and you're still gonna have to learn, because experience is the best teacher. But at least, like, before I started my YouTube channel, and right when I started, I watched a bunch of videos. Like, I watched how to make a YouTube video, how to upload a video, when at one point do you get monetized, how do you add ads to your videos, how do you do a thumbnail. Like, I probably watched maybe 6 or 7 hours worth of videos. And so I learned that for somebody to even be able to like or dislike your video, they had to at least watch 1 minute of it. So when I got my first dislike, I kind of was like, but you watched it though. Thank you for the view. You helping me get to them 4,000 hours that I need to get monetized. So thank you. So yeah, that's the way I kind of look at it now. Like, even if I get a dislike, guess what? I came up in their search bar. They clicked on it and they watched at least 1 minute of it. So, winning, whatever. So now I'm making the Mickey Mouse silhouettes to go around the bottom tier of the cake. Okay, so I've made all my details to go on my cake. And so now I'm gonna put the final details to finish off my cake. So the little girl's name is Loyalty. So I made a name banner to go on the cake. And I actually found the badge template online. And then I just edited her name onto it. And we're gonna put that right there. Loyalty, I actually did her birthday cake from last year. It was like one of my most liked shared cakes. It was a Baby Boss cake, but it was like like the black little girl version with like leopard print. I'll insert a picture of her cake from last year, but it was so cute, and it was one of my most liked pictures on Instagram. Okay, so like I said, this is a Minnie Mouse themed cake. So I made some Minnie Mouse cutouts. And I just used my Minnie Mouse cookie cutter to make these. Just kind of crooked. And I'm just using piping gel. If you watch any of my videos, you know I love using piping gel to stick my details to my cakes. Because I feel like it gives me a good stick. You know, so you can use water, but sometimes I feel like water kind of makes it slide, and sometimes it drips. So I like to use piping gel because it gives you that good stick without making your fondant soggy or sliding or dripping down your cake. Because I've had literally some instances where the images, I think I need to move this one closer. I think I want to move this one closer. And I like that because, like, if I were to use water and then try to move this, it wouldn't have been as easy because, like I said, water kind of bleeds and leaves a mark. So that's why I like using piping gel, because it gives you a good stick. It doesn't bleed, it doesn't run, and if you need to pick up something and move it, it doesn't mess up your cake. So yeah, usually I was used to basically doing everything regarding my business myself, like from the shopping to taking the orders, answering all the emails, doing all the prep work, doing all the baking, literally everything. And custom cakes are very, very time consuming. They're definitely a labor of love. So I recently hired an assistant, and so she's been helping me a lot with answering the orders, researching some things, because I do plan on growing. I am working on some things that to expand my business, in which, you know, once it gets closer and I kind of get some things concrete, I will share with you guys, because I don't like to share possibilities. Like, I want to make sure I know, you know, something's gonna happen and I know the details of it, and kind of can tell you when to expect it before I share. Because the worst thing is sharing something prematurely and then it never happens. Like, people will be asking you forever, whatever happened to blah blah blah. So I do have some things in the work, and like I said, once I kind of get some more insight, do some more research, kind of put some plans into place, I will be happy to share those things with you guys. So yeah, if you want to follow me in this journey, you want to learn some cake tips. I mean, you don't have to have a baking business or a bakery, or even want to have a baking business or a bakery to appreciate some cake tutorials. I mean, all of us have family members, you know, you might have kids, nieces, nephews, aunts, uncles, and if you can learn some tips on how you can make some simple desserts or cakes yourself, not only could it save you money, but it'll give you all kind of points with the family if you could show up with a cake that you made. Like, yes, I did this. I have arrived. So but that too is just looking so crooked to me. I don't know, is that too looking crooked? So, it's gonna be polka dots on the top. I love Minnie Mouse. I just feel like it's so classic. And it's such a, like, it's never going anywhere. I feel like 30 years from now, people will still be having Minnie Mouse and Mickey Mouse parties. Because I remember when I first started baking, literally the first cake I ever made was a Minnie Mouse cake. And that was 9-10 years ago. So for me to still be doing Minnie Mouse 10 years later, and people, the funny thing is, everybody loves Mickey and Minnie. Like, no matter how many Mickey and Minnie cakes, treats, birthday parties you don't went to, like, we never get tired of Mickey and Minnie. Like, Disney, they are some geniuses. I don't know why I didn't think of this. I mean, they are a multi-billion-dollar industry that they built off of these classic characters. That's just amazing. Because everybody loves Mickey and Minnie. Like, I'm sorry, when I go to Disney World, even as an adult, I still want Minnie ears. Like, Minnie ears are so cute to me. Like, the little glittery ones. I want some glittery ones. I mean, I'll just wear them on a regular day. Wear them for one of my videos or something. But I just love Mickey and Minnie. It's just so cute, so girly, so dainty to me. So I never, ever get tired of doing Mickey and Minnie. Ever. And from the responses that I get every time I post, and I think that it's such a international brand and theme as well, because like whenever I do Mickey or Minnie, I do notice I get a lot of response from like other countries, like people in other countries. They love Mickey and Minnie. They really do. I do too. I would love to go to Disneyland in Paris. I've never been to Disneyland. I live in Florida, so literally Disney World is 3 hours away from me. And I used to live in Orlando, literally across the street, like 10 minutes away from Disney World. So, but I didn't even realize like how much of a big deal, because I grew up here, I did not realize how much of a big deal it is for people who don't live in Florida or California. Like, I did not realize how much of a big deal or life goal or just, you know, big deal it was to go to Disney World. Like, people literally like save for the whole year. Like, you know, it's like to, and we take it for granted. Like in Florida, like just like I live 10 minutes away from the beach. We literally take some things for granted. When I was in college, my college roommate, I remember her saying, I wanted to come to Florida. She was from Chicago. And I remember her telling me, I wanted to come to Florida because I wanted to go to the beach and I wanted to go to Disney World. Like, how far is the beach and how far is Disney World? And I was like, the beach is like 10 minutes away. She's like, 10 minutes? Like, she was so excited about going to the beach. And it's just something that we took for granted. Like, she was just very much excited. We went to the beach and she was taking pictures, calling her family, like, I'm at the beach. Like, and it was just so amazing to me to like watch it through her eyes. Like, she was like living out one of her dreams. And literally, like, my whole life, the beach has been down the street from me. And I really, like, never realized, you know, some people don't live around the beach. Like, people literally become adults and have never been to the beach. But, you know, at the same time, because I'm telling you, I'm from Florida, and I've lived in Florida my whole life. So I had never seen snow. So she couldn't believe that I had never seen snow. So, like, it just really is, you know, crazy how we take certain things for granted and not even realize. It just shows you, like, even like the little things in your life, people are like praying and wishing for, like, you know, hoping one day they can go to the beach, and like we'll go down to the beach to go get ice cream. Like, it's nothing to us. Like, we literally go down to the beach, get ice cream, and go home, or get pizza. My boyfriend and I, when we first started dating, is this pizza spot on the beach, and we literally will go to the beach, get pizza, get ice cream, and come back home. So it's just amazing what we take for granted. Like, especially in this time with like COVID and like everything going on. Like, I'm really learning, like, not to take people, places, and things for granted, because one thing 2020 has showed you is that these things could be snatched up from up under you in a minute. Like, so I'm like really starting to take the little things for granted. Like, not take the little things for granted, and not just assume because something is a certain way right now that it'll always be that way. So I'm gonna add some polka dots to the bow, but we're almost there, guys. Oh, my gloves have gotten sticky from the piping gel. So I'm just gonna wash my hands, and then I'm gonna apply the polka dots to the top of the cake, to the bow. So yeah, if you've made it this far into my video, I hope that you learned some insight about me. I hope that you learned a little, at least one tip from me with my cakes today. And then I hope, if you made it this far, that you have to subscribe to my channel. Come on. We just reached 100. Next stop is 1,000. I can't do it without you guys' help. I only have 2 email addresses. I can't subscribe to myself. I've already got all my friends and family to subscribe to me. So I need you guys' help to get to that 1,000, so I can keep cranking out these videos, sharing what I know. I actually like this segment, chatting with you, and also showing you cake tips. If you like this video and you want to see more, comment below with a bow emoji if you want to see more videos like this, because I love to talk. If you haven't noticed, although I'm not super friendly in person when you first meet me, I do like to talk once I get to know you. Like, I have so many opinions. I have so many stories I can share with you guys. So why not? That's what we're here for, right? YouTube could be motivating, it could be uplifting, it could be funny, it could be educational, whatever y'all want. I'm willing to. I think I will. whatever y'all want. So this is the final product of our Minnie Mouse cake. I want to thank you guys for watching. And like I said, if you haven't already, I need you to like this video, comment below what you thought of this video, what you think of the cake. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.
Sweet, 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 sweet life.